Hello, everyone. I am Aris Papadopoulos. I'm a product manager in the Kibana team. And in this session, I will present together with my fellow PM and friend, Jason Burns, Actionable Kibana with workflows and collaboration. Here is the agenda for the next roughly 25 minutes. We will start by discussing an Actionable Kibana framework. And based on this, we will walk through a number of capabilities, specifically remain in context with drill downs and interoperability, automate with rules, alerts, and connectors, collaborate with cases and shareability. We will demonstrate a number of these capabilities, and finally, we will conclude the presentation discussing how they come together with end-to-end workflows in Elastic Solutions and offering you a glimpse of what's coming next. Kibana has grown organically with its community to include an array of investigation and analytics tools from which you can select depending on your use case. For example, you can use Lens, Discover, and a range of different visualizations to explore your data, maps to analyze their geospatial relationships, machine learning to detect anomalies, and train models, as well as solution-specific utilities such as observability's logs, metrics, and other views, or security's timeline, and the visual event analyzer. But gaining insights is truly valuable only when you can act on them. And an actionable Kibana means that not only you're able to easily take action on your insights, but what's more, you're able to make this a repeatable process because your analytics, observability, or security work is complex, and you want to leverage the emerging patterns. And you can take action either within Kibana or in the external systems that you use the most, straight into your external workflows. To do this, we are focusing on 3 ubiquitous patterns that underlie custom repeatable workflows, and we are offering an array of features that power them. Let's quickly review our actionable Kibana framework. First, when you focus on an insight, you may want to continue your analysis, double-click on it, explore and visualize on multiple levels. And for this, Jason will discuss drill downs in detail next. In addition to drill downs, Kibana tools also become increasingly interoperable in more ways. Second, you may want to automate the detection of certain insights and the actions you want to take. And for this, you can use the new Kibana alerting product, which gets all the more integrated in our solutions. Kibana connectors allow you to automate your response by powering integrations with the systems your organization uses, integrations that you can set up in seconds. And last but not least, you want to share your insights and analyze them collaboratively. And for this, Kibana offers cases, which power in Kibana collaboration, and a number of ways to share your work, including the recent capability of accessing Kibana anonymously without the need to log in. Now, in the rest of this presentation, we will walk you through these capabilities, and we will conclude by showing you how they all come together in end-to-end workflows in Elastic Solutions. Now, there's a lot to cover, so let's start with drill downs.
Hello, thanks, Aris. So Aris has already done a pretty amazing job setting the context of what we mean by actionable Kibana. I'm going to keep the ball rolling with another feature, and I think this is one that we use to make Kibana more dynamic than ever. Drill downs have been around for a few releases now, and they not only let you take action right in place, but I think they changed the way that or hopefully they changed the way that you think about architecting dashboards entirely. The days of a big monolithic dashboard are numbered. Not only do they just not make sense on phones and small devices, but they take too long to load and they just cram way too much information in too small a space. So what if there was a way to break those dashboards up and encourage users to explore data from dashboard to dashboard without losing context as they apply filters and change time context along the way? Is that a leading question? Probably so. So that's what dashboard drill downs are for. All you really need to think about is what's your target, what's your context. You can pick and choose when you want to leave filters and time behind, but we'll get to that in a minute. So there's a few technical details in the bullets that are definitely worth calling out. User configurable means that any user who can author a dashboard can author a drill down. When you save your drill down, that's where it lives, within the context of that dashboard. I'll show you how you can opt in and out of that context when we get to the demo. But a few more things. So you can have you can have more than one drill down on a single panel. So those can be linked to different triggers so that a click event goes one place, a range event goes another, so on and so on. Also, you can target different dashboards and URLs. So speaking of URLs, let's talk a little bit about URL drill downs. So like I said, drill downs are not the only target you can use, or sorry, dashboards are not the only target that you can use. With drill downs, URL drill downs let you define an internal or external URL and use tokens in the URL template to pass Kibana context along the query string. So just like dashboard drill downs, there are multiple possible triggers. You can have a single panel with a more information link, for example. You could have the click menu go to one website. You could have a range event go to another service. If you're familiar with mustache syntax, that's what templates use. I'll show you a little bit in the example, but it's definitely worth Googling if you're wanting to get more into complex URL query strings templates. So that's enough talking about it. Let me show you how it works. Let me just really quickly, let's start with this dashboard. This is a dashboard that you might have already seen. It's really useful to her trying to make sense of web traffic. It's a great example of what Kibana is capable of, but from an information architecture perspective, it's a lot. So, a designer might ask, who is the audience for this dashboard? Or what is it that they most critically need to see? And if they get that kind of next step, where is it that they want to go to get additional detail? To frame this demo, I split this dashboard apart a little bit. So let's take a look at the two pieces. The first one I created was a main. And this main dashboard retains the high-level statistics and eye candy that makes it engaging. The detail is the next dashboard here. And this contains the visualizations that are getting a little further into the data and your tables and Sankey charts and all that kind of good stuff. So if we use drill downs, we can connect these dashboards and make sure that when a viewer takes action, any existing context carries on to the next dashboard. Let's create one and we'll connect the two. So let's go back to our main dashboard. And we're drilling from main to detail. So we're going to start there. And drills can act on multiple triggers. And this response code over time annotation, this one will give us the ability to output a range. And that's kind of a cool thing to start with. So let's use that. The first thing to know is if you want to configure a drill down, the dashboard needs to be in edit mode. You notice the look changes. I have a few that are already configured here from a previous iteration of this demo. Just let me delete those and pretend that didn't happen. And if we look here now on this panel, all fresh, just forget what just happened, you'll see create drill down. And I have the option of go to dashboard, go to URL, and go to dashboard is what we want to do in this case. So if I click that, this is the configuration panel for a dashboard drill down. So let's call this drill down view details, because that's what we want to do, is view the details. And if I drop down the box here, I see all the dashboards that I have in this space, and details is the one that I want. I don't want to make any changes here because I definitely want to pass along the context along. We'll hit create drill down, and this is the next most important tip I can give you. If you remember, I said that a drill down is stored in the dashboard. So in this case, we want to save the dashboard to make sure that we don't lose this drill down. And we'll also switch to view mode so it works like we would expect to. Okay, so now that we have this drill down configured, let's test it out. I'm going to go and just select a country. I'm going to select OS. I only have one option. That's fine. And I see this big yellow hump, and maybe that's what I'm interested in exploring. So if I select this range, instead of having an immediate action like you would have normally seen, I get this context menu, and I can apply the filter to the current view, which is the behavior that you're used to. Or I can choose view details, the name that I gave this drill down. If I click that, you can see that my filters passed along, the date's the same as the dashboard, and I've drilled down to the single record that actually caused that blip. So pretty direct way to get to the data that you need to in one quick step. But that is, kind of the basic example of a drill down to the dashboard. And as I said, we can have more than one dashboard on a single panel. So let's go back to our main dashboard and let's do something fun. We're going to try to configure a URL drill down that it will take us to view the data within the stream and logs. So Let's do the same thing. If you remember, you always have to be in edit mode. So let's click edit. And you see I have my one. I know that there's a drill down already configured. If I click manage drill downs, it will take me to a list of them. If I had 10, there would be 10. Important to mention, you can delete them. I think you saw me do that really quickly a minute ago. But the next drill down we want to add here, all we have to do is say create new. In this case, we're doing a URL. And what we want to do is go to stream in this case. And since we're already using the range selection to trigger our other drill down, I'm going to select single click. So whenever I click a point in the data, that's when this URL will get triggered. And I've got one handy here because this would be quite a bit to type live in a demo. So I'll just paste in, and you can see that I'm hitting stream on my localhost server, and I'm passing along. This is where that mustache syntax comes in, the event key, the event value. Those double curlies are when, you know, the indicator when you're seeing mustache syntax. So additional options are here. If I wanted to, by default, it's going to open it in a new window, but if I wanted to open in place, I could. And for some of the more complex cases like Salesforce, or sorry, ServiceNow, for example, the way that we parse URLs to make sure they're safe can be a little challenging for the way that they form out their query string. So we've added the ability for you to disable the way that we encode the URL if you want to manually encode it in your mustache template. Okay, so let's create this drill down. And now I see my list. I can close this menu. Again, I have to save so I don't lose my drill down, and I'll switch back to view mode. And now I have the reverse. I have this dip. Let's see what's going on with this dip. If I click that, now if you notice, I could actually still go to my dashboard. Since the dashboard drill down will act on both triggers, it's still there. But I also have go to stream, and that's what we just set up. So if I click that, you'll open in a new tab. And here you go. You can see I'm right where I need to be in the context of the data in the log stream. So that is a very, very quick demo. And obviously we can go much deeper in this topic. There is a webinar that I'll be sure we make sure is linked at the end. But the main thing I want you guys to keep in mind is it goes deeper than external links and just detail and templates. The webinar is kind of a tutorial into getting into mustache templates. It's a tutorial about URL templates for a few different scenarios, and it's got a fun data set to play with. So I'm really excited to see what you do with it. And if you're having any kind of issues, you know, jason.burns@elastic.co, I'm very interested in your feedback. With that, let's go back over to Aris and learn more about interoperability.
As Kibana grows, we are making sure that tools and applications remain interoperable. For example, you can bring maps, log streams, and machine learning swim lanes in your dashboards, and you can transition from observability to visualizations, always retaining your context. Beyond drill downs, Kibana tools become all the more interoperable. For example, you can bring maps, log streams, and machine learning swim lanes in your dashboards, and you can transition from observability to visualizations, always retaining your context. As Kibana grows its offering of tools, interoperability comes to focus. Automating parts of your work is a major aspect of creating efficient, repeatable workflows. With the new Kibana alerting, you can easily create rules in order to detect a condition and act on your alerts. The new alerting product is deeply integrated in Kibana, and we are working on making it available everywhere. The number of rule types that Kibana offers increases with every release. Observability currently offers rule types across APM, logs, uptime, and metrics. Security offers more than 500 out-of-the-box rules and the ability to create your own custom ones. In addition, non-solution specific rule types include machine learning rules for anomaly detection, track containment rules in maps, and stack monitoring rules to help you monitor your deployments. And of course, you get generic rule types that you can apply to any of your indices, such as the generic index threshold and the DSL query rule. And the collection grows with every release. Now, depending on your use case, you can set the corresponding rules in a matter of a few clicks, straight from within the UI, without any query or Elastic Stack technical knowledge. And while the condition you will use depends on the use case and the rule type you select, the UX is extremely user-friendly and consistent across. The new alerting product has a laser focus on helping you detect the signal and cut the noise. For example, you get immediate visual feedback while you are setting up your rule, you are in full control of when the rule fires an alert. Perhaps you need it every time the condition is met, or only on state change. Do you want to be alerted when the alert recovers back to normal? And last but not least, leverage Kibana spaces for multi-tenancy and Kibana role-based access control. Now, once you automate with rules, you may choose to channel your alerts to your external ecosystem. And for this, Kibana offers a continuously growing collection of connectors to prominent tools in the following categories. For collaboration, we have the Slack, Microsoft Teams, and email connectors. For incident management, PagerDuty, ServiceNow, ITSM, and Jira. For security operations, Swimlane and ServiceNow SecOps. And if we don't cover your system of choice just yet, you can use the webhooks connector. And the list of connector categories is growing as well. Now, here are a few important points to know regarding connectors. Setting them up is extremely easy and fast with a simple and user-friendly UI. Once you set them up, you can test them in one click in the same UI. You can reuse each integration for as many rules as you like. And after setting up your connectors, you can then simply use the corresponding actions with the rules. For example, the PagerDuty action will create an incident workflow item custom with the alert parameters that you set it up with in Kibana. It will then pass it to the PagerDuty incident response interface directly into the user workflows. Except with rules, connectors can be used with Kibana cases as well, which will be our next topic.
Once your investigation or alert triaging identifies an issue, you may want to escalate it, collaborate in order to resolve it, and track its progress. And for this, you can use Kibana cases. You can attach security timelines to cases and even lens visualizations to communicate your investigations and collaborate with other users in order to progress them. You can also use Markdown to format. A case changes status as you progress your collaborative investigation from open to in progress and finally closed. You can set a case to sync status automatically with its linked alerts. And just like with alerts, you can channel your cases to the external systems of your choice. Now, currently, cases are only available through Elastic Security, but as we will see next, they will become available through Elastic Observability and the rest of Kibana. Now, let's see more ways to collaborate. Kibana offers a number of ways to share your work. You can link to your Kibana objects, such as dashboards, visualizations, and Canvas workpads, or embed them to external sites. And you can share snapshots or saved objects with live data. You can export reports in CSV, PDF, and PNG formats. Recently, we added the ability to share your objects publicly. You can now create public links and let anyone access a Kibana object without requiring them to authenticate. With anonymous access, you are in full control of what you share publicly, and you can choose how to bring viewers into your Kibana instance. For example, you can give anonymous, dashboard only, or solution restricted access to Kibana spaces as needed. You can land them directly on your public Kibana objects, and you can embed these objects to external sites, bypassing the authentication step entirely. Finally, we are continuously improving the way you can work with saved objects across Kibana spaces. Copying and import-export of saved objects has become much more powerful recently, as well as user-friendly. And we are going to add the ability to share saved objects across spaces in a future release.
Having seen all these capabilities, it's time to discuss how rules, alerts, cases, and connectors come together to form Elastic Solutions end-to-end workflows. The workflow starts by creating a rule from within the solution. Once your rule gets triggered, you can view your alerts and double-click on their details in context in the solution's alerts view. You can investigate and triage your alerts with solution-specific tools. And in this process, you can collaborate in your investigation, you can acknowledge your alerts and close them, and know that this capability is present across rules alerts, and cases. You can escalate them and collaborate further by attaching them to an existing or newly created case. And you can channel your alerts and cases into your external ecosystem with connectors. Now, this flow is currently available end-to-end for elastic security. But we are very well aware that it is also very much needed by our observability users too. And the great news is that it is coming up in observability in one of the next releases. Now, I mentioned that the analysis and investigation tools are solution specific. For example, the timeline and the visual event analyzer in the security solution, and the metrics, APM, logs, and other views in observability. Same goes for the fields that the views support, of course, right? So they are solution specific, of course. Now, let's very briefly walk through this workflow in the security solution with a quick demo. And note that the purpose of this quick demo is not to show the security solution's functionality exhaustively, not the topic of this talk, and not possible in such a short time as it is very rich, but to give you a flavor of the end-to-end workflow. After the demo, we will show you a sneak preview of how this will work in observability in the future. In the security solution, I'm in the rules view, and here I can manage the more than 500 out-of-the-box rules, as well as the ones which I have created. Here is how I can easily create my own rules, selecting from a range of solution-specific rule types. Back to the rules list, I see a number of important data points, such as the severity, risk score, and last run for each rule. Heading to the alerts view, never leaving the solution context, I can see all the alerts that are triggered and visualizations that help me prioritize and triage. Again, I see a number of important data points, and I can customize the view according to my needs. I can select to view the details of each alert, and I can take action by investigating further, acknowledging, or closing the alert. I can select to investigate further using the timeline tool, and the visual event analyzer. Both security-specific tools. I can triage and use the acknowledge and close functionality. And I can escalate the alert to a new or an existing case. I can leverage a connector to send it to an external system, in this case, ServiceNow. And finally, I can manage cases and continue investigating them collaboratively in the cases view within the solution. We will conclude this talk by showing you a preview of rules, alerts, and cases in Elastic Observability. This part of the talk is roadmap, future functionality, unless specified otherwise, and actuals may differ. You can currently create your rules in Elastic Observability in context, for example, from within the metrics view, like you see here. The ability to manage rules in context, though, like we just saw in security, is on the roadmap. Observability alerts will be available within the observability solution in the alerts view, consistently with what we saw for security. Fields and specifics will be custom to the observability solution, of course. Similarly, you will be able to work with cases, create, collaborate, manage, and integrate them to external systems. If you would like to learn more about the topics that we have covered in this talk, like drill downs, the new Kibana alerting, and Kibana connectors, we have linked for you resources such as webinars that you can watch on demand and documentation. And at this point, we would like to thank you for tuning in, and we are looking forward to your feedback.